Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. I've heard through the grapevine that some of you guys like to say it's Al with me. So let me know in the replies down below if you say it's Al when I say it's Al. We're back with another week 4 Draftkings video. I'm going to point out some of my favorite stacks, my top 5 stacks for NFL DFS week 5 on Draftkings. That is what we try to do here, and we attack tournaments. We're going over tournament strategy and double stacking these players, who we're going to bring them back with. Players at quarterback who have an access to a ceiling, high scoring environments, big team totals, soft matchups on the other side of the ball, everything that we want to achieve the most possible fantasy goodness that we can get in our lineups. Because, as we know very, very well, the easiest way, or the easiest way to overweight the field in a tournament, is to double stack pass catchers with your quarterback. Use a player on the other side to bring that back with, giving you an opportunity to have a whole lot of points coming from 4 different players, but you only have to be right about one thing, that game is going to absolutely go off. So if you're here and new to the stream, thank you for being here. Drop a like on the video. We got to get over 1,000 likes on this video before lineups kick off on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave me that reply down below, and let's go.
He's a legend.
Our Top Stacks video, just like every week, is brought to you by the fine folks over at Rotogrinders.com. You can get in with an NFL-only package or use the Core 4 combo package to get access to basically every single sport that they have. You can pay on a per month basis. If you just want to try it out, they have a 5-day trial membership that you can use. You can play golf on the weekend. You can play NHL, NBA when it gets here, MLB while it's still going through this weekend, college football, college basketball, soccer, MMA, esports, WNBA, which is, I think, over at this point, tennis. Everything else is included in that combo package. If you just play NFL, stick to the NFL package. Give them a shot. We're going to go over their lineup builder and how to build these stacks in it. Also, I wanted to make sure to remind you about the Smiz Gang Listener League. Links for the discounted Rotogrinders membership and the Listener League will be in the pinned comment below. smizzle.tv/Rotogrinders. And then the individual link for the Listener League, that will also be in the pinned comment as well as in the description. If you want to click show more in the description, you'll have the link to the No Kid Hungry Tiltify donation. We are about $12,000 raised so far, so that's pretty tremendous. I'm pretty happy about that. You guys have been amazing so far this season. This Listener League has been a lot of fun. We go over the winners on the recap video every Monday on the second channel. $10 entry fee, 3 max, $35,000 in the prize pool. Absolutely no rake. All the money that's paid in gets paid out. We have to fill it. If we don't fill it, they're going to make it smaller. If we fill it early, they'll make it bigger. So make sure you jump in there and compete against other members of the Smiz Gang. They were the cover, so why not just talk about them first and foremost? The Dallas Cowboys have a difficult team to pick apart in terms of who should you play? But it's not that difficult to realize that they're going to score a lot of points pretty much on a week in, week out basis. They have a game this week against the Panthers, and the Panthers have looked extremely good defensively, but they haven't played a quarterback like Dak. They have not played an offense as talented and diversified as the Dallas Cowboys offense has been. Let's consider this Chargers game the Russian judge. For those of you who are old enough to remember what and who the Russian judge is and what that means. Massive amounts of points coming, an extremely efficient offense. This is off the charts in terms of pass game efficiency. 80% completions, 85% completions. He hasn't challenged down the field as much, so these lower ADOT throws he's just completing them a lot more. But a lot of targets to very capable receivers. Now with Michael Gallup out, that has led us to a situation where you can just get to the guys that you want to get to. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Ced Wilson is playing the most snaps and running the most routes out of the other guys. The tight ends with this crew, Schultz and Jarwin, kind of coin flipping, splitting snaps, splitting targets. Schultz has been great in 2 different games, caught 2 touchdowns against Philly. Jarwin still running half the snaps, did not get the amount of targets. If you want to play Schultz at 3,400 as a part of your Prescott double stack, I'm fine with that. Looking at the bring back plays from this group on Carolina, a lot of them. Moore, good. Hubbard, good. Robbie Anderson, fine. You think Freeman's going to outsnap him? Use him as a bring back play. You also have a good value play in here at wide receiver with Terrace Marshall. Zylstra might result in dry mouth. There's some side effects involved with Brandon Zylstra, but it kind of is what it is. So taking a look over at the Rotogrinders lineup building tool, clicking on Dallas, we're going to eliminate certain players from that group. Now, I'm not going to include running backs with the exception of like a very, very few. Like if we're going to build like a Saints stack, I would include Alvin Kamara in my Winston stacks. But for other quarterbacks, I'm not going to include the running backs unless they are heavily, heavily, heavily targeted guys. I will include Schultz. You can leave Jarwin in there or take him out if you want to. I'm going to leave Wilson. Not going to include Noah Brown. Not going to include this. I'm going to keep it very tight between these guys. And you could also build in boosts if a lineup has Dak Prescott. Make sure that exactly one CeeDee Lamb is in that group. You can build those rules if you want with the player groups option up here. Or you can say overweight, boost his stats when lineups include Dak Prescott if you want one or more of the other guys. And we would also build a bring back group with the Carolina Panthers that you want to include in your Dak stacks. Our next player in that group, going to be Josh Allen. Same thing that we talked about a couple of weeks ago when it comes to quarterbacks in games where they are massive favorites, and they are 15.5-point favorites right now. The Buffalo Bills are over the Houston Texans. There's a possibility this game gets out of hand. I'm sure that somebody in the replies is going to tell me how Josh Allen can't be somebody we're going to play because they're going to rest Josh Allen in the second half. Or they're just going to run the ball a whole bunch. So here's the key. And I said this in Top Stacks. I believe it was week 2 when the Buccaneers were massive favorites. I'm going to say it again to you now. Quarterbacks and offenses don't get benched for the second stringers in the NFL. Often. It's not college. You don't have 100 kids on your roster. You have 54. So for them to bench the starters, they would have to hang a 40 or a 50 burger on the Texans. If the Bills score 40 or 50 points in this game, it would stand to reason that if they score 5, 6, 7 touchdowns or more, that Josh Allen's going to have some part of that at the very least, and those throws that he completes are going to go to pass catchers on his team. And so therefore, guys like Steph Diggs, Manuel Sanders, and Cole Beasley, specifically in games where opponents play zone, he performs much better. When defenses play zone versus man, his yards per route run is like 5 times higher against zone than man. And the Texans this year with Lovie Smith do play an awful lot of zone. So this might be a Beasley week in your Allen stacks. Bringing it back with the other side of this game, you can put anybody you want. I'm probably going to limit my bring back player to like Brandon Cook because, he's outstanding and like the only option that they seem to have there consistently to throw to. So building that group, going to use exactly 2 players. I'm going to keep this group nice and tight. If you wanted to use Dawson Knox because of the price and the random, cheap tight end factor, this is right now it's set up for FanDuel. You can set this to Draftkings if you want. I know we're using Draftkings on the video, but the groups are basically going to remain the same. Not going to include Gabriel Davis, not going to include that. It's going to be a very tight group here, and I might not even include Knox, or if I do, I'm going to limit him to like just a couple of my lineups as a kind of a dart throw sort of a situation. Next player in the group, Matthew Stafford. Rams sure look good. Throwing an awful lot of touchdowns, 9 of them through the first 3 games. And that's what we're looking for. Quarterbacks that have the opportunity or the possibility to throw 3 to 5 touchdowns on a week. Now, or be responsible. Let's not say throw, but be responsible for 3 to 5 touchdowns on a week. Because the running quarterbacks definitely give you an easier path to that. But Stafford has a ton of weapons at his disposal. That offense is created around scoring a lot of points. And at 7,000, I believe that we can stack them, especially considering, and I did not highlight the Rams because I am a terrible streamer. Cooper Kupp's good. I don't think that his target percentage and all that is going to be sustainable over the course of the season. Okay? And that takes nothing away from Cooper Kupp, the player, but like 38% of the target, it's enough already. He's not going to get 40% of the Rams targets for the whole year. 30% is absurd. like from an NFL standpoint. Like guys like Nook Hopkins gets like 30 to 31. So there's no way he's going to sustain that for an entire 17 game season, which means that when you look at somebody like Robert Woods and his salary has been 57, 57, 57, and now back down to 53. You want to target players as their salary is going down, because as their salary is going down, if they're good players, as their salary is going down, the percentage in tournaments usually goes down with it, as daily fantasy players tend to run away from players whose salary is dropping, because that typically means that they're not doing so well on the field. But good players in great offenses like Robert Woods in this Rams offense gives us an opportunity to have a nice bounce back. Van Jefferson has been extremely involved through the first 3 weeks. Love the routes that he's been running. Love the snaps that he's been playing. Deshaun Jackson had a massive spike week last week with 24 points, but it looked like that was a situation they looked like they could exploit and were certainly game planning, because they were looking for Deshaun Jackson deep all game, and they finally hit on that 75-yard touchdown. I think he's going to maybe fall back. I think that Jefferson's probably the better play, and at tight end, Higbee would be the guy. You know what's going to happen right now? Chat, come here. Guys, come here. There's probably some people right now who just kind of scan through the YouTube timeline and look at the just when I have like the Draftkings thing up on the screen, and they're going to say in the replies, look for these guys. Sir, I don't think you should play 4 Rams receivers with Stafford. I think that's a bit much. I know. It is. And we're not. Please just watch the video. Going over to the Rams, building that same group out. Sony Michel, if Darrell Henderson Jr. is out this week, looks like a massive value. Both of them are going to be just fine. He's 5,200 on DraftKings. Not going to include the running backs. And going to include those 4 or 5 receivers. You can leave Deshaun Jackson in there if you want. You can X them out if you want. Honestly, play whoever you want. These are just kind of suggestions of guys that the way that I want to build it. On the other side, Arizona, you can bring it back with Nook. You can bring it back with Kirk. You can bring it back with AJ Green, Rondale Moore, or the running backs. Either one is fine. You don't have to pair wide receiver with wide receiver as a bring back. Patrick Mahomes. You know him. You love him. I don't need to talk about why he's good or what you should do with him, but like this seems pretty good. The problem with this stack is that it's extremely pricey, and on a week like this, there's not a lot of value. So I think that using them I think this is it's going to grade as a massively great stack. The good thing is the percentage on it's going to be real low, especially if you can find secondary stacks that are going to be low price, like that Rams stack that I kind of talked about with a cheap receiver on Arizona and maybe Sony Michel to be the running back in the case that Henderson is out. You can get here is kind of the point that I'm making. And looking at the other side of the ball, we have some value on the other side of the ball as well. Smith at 57, Goddard at 48, Rager at 47 is fine as a bring back play in this group. I'm probably going to keep my Kansas City group very small here. Not going to use Edwards-Helaire in that group. I'm really going to basically keep it to just this. And I'm going to play 2 of these guys if I have Mahomes in any of those lineups. And my final group. Oh, you're going to hate this one. I can already hear you vomiting through the internet. But Seattle is really, really bad defensively. They have problems, a lot of problems. And while Jimmy G has not had a good week yet this season, he's thrown a max of 2 touchdowns in any game. He ran for 1 here in week 2. There's a possibility that they're going to scheme him out if they get inside the 5-yard line sometimes and bring in the rookie to run the ball around the goal line. But based on price and combined price of stack, when you think about this, considering the defense that he's playing against, these grade out really well. Deebo Samuel has been nuts so far. Look at this freaking volume. He's got 30 targets through 3 weeks. He's 6,500. People aren't going to play him. George Kittle is 5,900. And people probably aren't going to click him all that much in combination with one other player and one other player and Garoppolo on that team. Brandon Ayuk seems like he's out of the the doghouse finally. So 5K seems too cheap for somebody that people were drafting in the third round because of his massive upside in this spot. You think we could find a couple of bring back players like Metcalf, Lockett, Carson? This looks like it's going to be a very low played stack in a game with a total of 51.5, because people just can't rationalize putting Jimmy Garoppolo in a lineup. Oh, he doesn't have a ceiling. What if is it out of the realm of possibility to think that Jimmy Garoppolo could throw 3 touchdowns this week? And if you capture 2 or 3 of them by pairing 2 of these guys with him, and then Seattle does something offensively and you capture the other guy, you just have to be right about that one thing. So they're kind of my sneaky undercover stack. 'Cause I'm an international super spy. Super spy! There's my double stack group for all my Jimmy Garoppolo lineups. You can bring it back with Metcalf, you can bring it back with Lockett, or do whatever you want. Go check out all the offerings that they have over at rotogrinders.com. Great content, great articles, good projections, and a very good lineup builder for you too, especially if you're a beginner. A lot of things to help you out with stacking or double stacking, and bring back groups, secondary stacks. Everything is built in and very easy to use. Just go click around on it. Use the 5-day trial if you want, and give yourself a chance to take advantage of the showdown slates and the main slate all at once for 5 straight days. 3 island games, 1 main slate. Give it a try, and I'll catch up to you later. Bye.
He's a legend.